Howdy, we are here with Hero Hey. Ubisoft is begging for Japan. I bet they are. I bet they are on their knees begging for forgiveness after everything they've done. Oh,
AC
I'm excited for
Shadows
this
has
one.
officially released. It'll be interesting to see how the player count stacks up over the weekend. In the meantime, we've got a news update regarding the ongoing situation in Japan
Okay,
and the
hit me with
Japanese
it.
government, the Diet, talking about this game, which we discussed yesterday. The Prime Minister of Japan, Shigeru Ishiba, himself also condemning AC Shadows yesterday. That condemnation
You got the prime rib involved. Uh-oh. That's you. You made it to the top. Good job, Ubisoft.
occurring specifically because in pre-release gameplay, Yasuke was seen as destroying or defacing the Itate Hyozu Shrine in Himeji Hyogo
Yeah, I heard some of the defense was the player shouldn't have done it, or you shouldn't have allowed them to do it. Huh? Players are going to do whatever they want to do, that especially if it makes them content. You knew that. You should have prevented them from doing things like that.
Prefecture, in which a local government official raised the issue to Prime Minister Ishiba saying a number of things in response, but in particular, quote unquote, defacing a shrine is out of the question. It is an insult to the nation itself. When the self-defense forces were deployed to Samawa, Iraq, we ensured they studied Islamic customs beforehand. Respecting the culture and religion of a country is fundamental, and we must make it clear that we will not simply accept acts that disregard them. That comparison is particularly interesting because, for example, we can see 1 year ago a post on our Islam titled, Ubisoft went full Muslim mode in AC Mirage. The post reading. In Assassin's Creed Mirage, a video game developed by Ubisoft, you can make the NPCs stop playing music while the Adon is going on in-game. The Adon is played 5 times in the game. Pretty cool. Showing this option in-game that says adjust music for call to prayer. When off-street musicians stop playing during the
That's considerate and thoughtful. Good for them.
Call to prayer, but some game music may overlap with it. Turn on this option to stop all music during the call to prayer. A top comment in response to that post reading, wow, now
Although you probably could just automatically turned off all the music during the call to prayer because that's what would have happened in the country. So I don't know why you would even have the option to let music play. That's not very authentic.
oh, that's respectful. A very interesting juxtaposition in comparison to the lack of care that Ubisoft has shown towards Japanese culture. And I say that not just with regards to the shrine situation, but numerous other controversies that have occurred in this game relating to just that. Ubisoft's lack of respect for Japanese culture. Of course, all that made even more ironic with the numerous damage control statements Ubisoft has put out over the months leading up to AC Shadow's release, where they have attempted to say that they definitely respect Japan and the Japanese people. But as mentioned, the current news from today, just a few hours ago even at that, a patch released. The day 1 patch, including a number of fixes amongst some other things.
Oh, let's go. What is it?
Regarding this news and the capitulation to the Japanese government, Ubisoft has actually patched the temples and shrines in-game, making tables and racks in those shrines/temples indestructible. The reasonable conclusion is that this is indeed a response to how things were escalating in Japan with the Diet and the condemnation of how AC Shadows was treating shrines. Another point I should have mentioned earlier from the local government official who initially raised the issue to Prime Minister Ishiba is how they were worried that the treatment of the shrines in-game may also influence how people in real life treat the shrines, that it may lead to an increase in vandalism and destruction, stuff like that. Amplifying his concerns, however, was specifically the growing situation with tourists over in Japan and how they've been causing a nuisance. That's putting it very lightly.
Yeah.
So with growing issues of tourism causing destruction
to be fair, you should have gone harder on them and they would have stopped.
The local people of Japan in various ways. And then AC.
I understand you want to be peaceful and respectful, but if they're not being peaceful and respectful back, you need to go hard. Make an example out of one of them. Absolutely torch them.
Shadows releasing and showing the destruction of the shrines and all that, yeah, they weren't having it. So we'll see if Ubisoft's recent action is enough to quell the situation with the Japanese Diet. That takes us to another situation occurring in Japan right now, a tweet going viral in JP Twitter, where Ubisoft is being mocked for their handling of cherry blossom viewing in AC Shadows. This tweet reading, roughly via translation, sorry, but I couldn't help but laugh at the beginning of Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's cloth. I know it's cloth, but it looks like a blue tarp. I wonder if they're using blue tarps even at cherry blossom viewing. Lol.
Yeah, after looking at it, it looks like cloth and tarp at the same time. Like, you could do either one of them, especially when it's that far away. And kind of fuzzy. I assume in the game it'd be easier to tell, but this picture is a little fuzzy. But yeah, I actually do. I think the color of it is really giving off tarp to them. That wasn't a great choice of color, but it could go either way. If you saw cloth, if you saw tarp, I'd believe you either direction.
There's no need to make it blue. And yeah, the image included showing the scene from AC Shadows, with the aforementioned blue mats being used in the background. A response elaborating on this reading: in ancient Japan, blue was extremely expensive dye and pigment. Even famous artists who were patronized by feudal lords rarely used blue in their works. Even for the powerful samurai class, there's no way they could casually lay out a blue dyed carpet instead of a mat for a cherry blossom viewing. That would be something like the Imperial family. A different response from another Japanese user comparing Ubisoft's actions here to some AI generated stuff. The post reading: Ubisoft, hey AI, generate some Japanese cherry blossom viewing images for me. AI, here you go. Ubisoft, oh, it's a blue carpet.
I wouldn't mind playing around with AI one day, just have a little bit of fun with it, see what comes up. I've never used an AI, but I think it could be interesting depending on what we try to go for.
Just copied and pasted. It's possible. Anyways, there's over 100 responses. Those two were just some of the most liked responses on there. The OP would actually add on to his take, saying, I'm not angry, don't worry. It's just that a blue rug at a cherry blossom viewing event looks so current that it makes me and the Japanese people responding to my post laugh. Blue sheets made of polyethylene have been around.
Okay, but like if it's blue now, what was it not blue before? I don't know the history. Do you have something about it that says blue wouldn't have been used then back then? Not used at the festival at that period? If not, I'd probably would have gone blue too if there was no other way to determine what they would have used.
Around since this time, it's a joke. Just thought you would find that amusing. Let me know what you think.
Just because it's blue doesn't mean it's polyethylene, okay? It could just be, yeah, it would have been rare, but also they only had the 3. And it looked like rich people sitting on them, so maybe.
About that, as well as the day one patch from Ubisoft updating the shrine interactions, so to speak. And
But what were
once
the
again,
other
we will
updates,
also
though?
see how the player count develops over the weekend. As always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this coverage, and if you did, please consider liking and or subscribing. And I'll
Yeah, give him a like and subscribe if you like him. It was a great video. He makes some short ones. It's delightful to react to or just to sit on the couch and watch real quick. Like and sub as always. Let me know down below in the comments whether you saw tarp or whether you saw cloth of some sort. I could see either way again, but I think it's just because of the color blue that they use that is very tarp-like. That's really what threw me off. If it was any other color, I would have said probably not a tarp. All right, catch you later. Stay safe, stay hydrated. Love you, loving nachos to all of you. Mwah.